Bitcoin is soaring today, about to break through all-time highs. With the price today already above the 2021 highs and just under 1% under the 2024 highs we saw earlier this year, the big question is, how much higher could we go? Who's buying so much Bitcoin right now? And what should we expect next? Well, what's next for Bitcoin? Number 1. Let's just take stock of where we are today. These are the top Bitcoin holders in the world. Satoshi Nakamoto, obviously in first, then Binance, the exchange, then BlackRock, already number 3, then Grayscale, MicroStrategy, the US government, etc. Interesting, and what the mainstream media won't report, I will. The US spot ETFs are scheduled to hit 1 million Bitcoin held by next Wednesday, and then pass Satoshi by mid-December, all before the ETFs even turn 1 year old. They've been adding about 177,000 Bitcoin per week. That said, anything can happen, so expect violent dips along the way, but the trend is pretty revealing. This is the number of Bitcoin bought by ETFs in this last week, and this is the amount of Bitcoin mined in the last week. Demand is outpacing supply, and just today we're seeing huge trading volumes for Bitcoin ETFs. BlackRock is already over $2 billion in volume, and the day isn't over yet. They're already number 5 out of all ETFs. Are these metrics better than what we saw earlier in 2024 or 2021? Well, about 6 months ago, back in March, Bitcoin was $71,000. At that time, Coinbase ranked 20th in the App Store. Today, Bitcoin is around the same price, yet Coinbase ranks over 400. The price is the same, but the dynamics have certainly shifted. The exact same, but retail isn't back at all. And by the way, make sure you follow us on Instagram. There's a link down below. You'll get exclusive content. We shared this a few weeks ago. A warning. When you see this, sell immediately. When Coinbase or popular cryptocurrency apps are trending and ranking number 1 in the App Store, that's a top signal. That means retail is here. Today, Bitcoin is literally 1% from previous all-time highs, and retail's not here compared to what we've seen in the past. Also, this was BlackRock CEO Larry Fink made a huge prediction. It kind of went under the radar, but this has huge implications on markets. Not a lot of other crypto or finance channels are sharing this with you, but it's big. Bullish BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is predicting at least another 25 basis point rate cut before the end of the year. Before the Fed finishes this year, would you expect a 25 basis point rate cut or a 50 basis point cut? Or you don't know? I think it's fair to say we're going to have at least a 25. But that being said, I do believe we have greater embedded inflation in the world than we've ever seen. Government policy is much more inflationary, whether it's our policies. During all of this, no one is asking the question, at what cost? Historically, we were, I would say, a more consumer-driven economy where the cheapest products were the best, the most progressive way of politicking. Today, I think we have governmental policies that are embedded inflationary. And with that being said, I think we're not going to see interest rates as low as people are forecasting. The more rates are cut, the less gravity is on markets. The more prices tend to go up. And the higher the rates are, the more pressure there is on market settings. That's gravity to the market, so we like the rate cuts. Also, Cardano collabing. Cardano news. With Bitcoin, Layer 2 is such a big deal. The biggest thing is Bitcoin coming to Cardano, guys. This was personal for me, and I almost cried when I saw the zero knowledge transaction happen. If you want a beginner's guide on what this Cardano Bitcoin collaboration means, highly recommend to check out this video. The Cardano CEO is not messing around. I didn't believe it when I first saw it. So, what the Bitcoin operating system people did, this is it. Yago people, and I think Serial Learner and a few others, had some preliminary ideas about this. They figured out how to embed, using Taproot, into the Bitcoin blockchain, an ability to install zero-knowledge proofs. Now, what this does is it actually gives a brain and eyes to Bitcoin. What that means is you can now trustlessly connect Bitcoin to other ecosystems. So the whole hybrid application model opens up, and there's $1.3 trillion of Bitcoin. There's over 100 million users. It's one of the biggest markets in the world. And Cardano is the native touchpoint because we're both UTXO systems. It's exceedingly easy to connect these two systems and develop these two systems. So So what does that mean? Well, it means Bitcoin can flow into Cardano, and with Babel fees, coming next year, they will be able to pay transaction fees in Bitcoin. Under the hood, ADA is being consumed, but, there's markets that so creates demand for ADA. Now, if you're wondering, when will altcoins go up? Why aren't altcoins going up? Well, it's because Bitcoin dominance is going up. It just hit 60%, and actually, zooming out to the live chart, we see it's at 61.3%. Right before altcoin season in the 2021 cycle, 4 years ago, Bitcoin dominance got as high as 73%. I personally think we're seeing diminishing returns just because there's way more altcoins now. There are better altcoins and worse, but there's more and better. I think 60% is close to the top of Bitcoin dominance. Now we could stay here for weeks. We could easily hit 64, 65%. But just like altcoin seasons of the past, when Bitcoin went from 73% dominance to 39% in the span of 5 months, I'm personally expecting to see something similar in 2025 on the global Ondo news. Markets, I think, truly have the potential to transform what people do on public blockchains. And speaking of altcoins, Ando's chief strategy officer lays out the future of Ando Finance and tokenizing the world. The goal is to take publicly listed securities that have deep liquidity in traditional markets and put those on TR. What gets me? Personally, I'm really excited about the Owner Global Markets initiative and platform. To your point, once you can start putting these public securities on chain, think of your popular stocks, think of your S&P 500 ETF, and think of other types of products, right? You can really start to do things that people have imagined doing but have never been able to actually pull off. Like all of a sudden, you can cross-collateralize a position that you have, right? You can have both your crypto and your equities, your stocks in one place. And you can use both assets as a funding source for whatever type of additional position that you want to take. Think about interesting interplays between the various asset classes. For example, if you say, hey, I have a lot of staked ETH, but instead of accumulating, I'd just like to put the yield of that into the S&P 500 ETF, or the other way around. You want to put the dividends that you get on your S&P 500 ETF into Ethereum. You can programmatically start thinking about products that facilitate stuff like that now. Final thoughts. If I sounded a little tired in today's video, it's because my brother and I just took a 16-hour flight from Los Angeles to Dubai. We're here for Binance's Blockchain Week. We will be doing a special fireside chat. Anyway, I can't get into it now, but pay attention for announcements coming out tomorrow through our Twitter. And like always, see you tomorrow. It's going to be a big rest of the year for Bitcoin and crypto.